So Splatoon 3's chill season is coming to an end, and so before we get any more info, I wanted to give my predictions for what I think we could see in the upcoming season. Just as a side note, this is mostly for fun, don't take this super seriously since I know most of these will likely end up wrong. I just thought this would be something fun to do before the release of each season. I plan on doing this for each season, so any feedback is appreciated, and with all that said, let's get straight into the video. We can get a rough idea of what we might see by just looking at what was added in the chill season back in December. We got a new catalog, which obviously contained new and returning gear, new items for your lockers, new stickers for your locker, and new emotes. We also got new weapons, new weapon kits, 2 new stages, 1 new Salmon Run stage, 2 new modes being X Battle and Big Run, and some smaller features such as seeing the band and song name of whatever song is playing during a match. So I think it's pretty safe to assume we're going to be getting similar or the same things as last time. So for weapons, last season we got 13 new weapons. 3 were completely new main weapons, and the other 10 were returning weapon kits. Every weapon class with the exception of Brellas, Stringers, and Splatanas got a new weapon or a new kit, so I think it's pretty safe to assume we'll be getting the same or at least something similar. Next season though, I do think we'll see a new weapon for each class. For the sake of this video, I'm just gonna assume we're getting the same amount of weapons. So to start off with the new main weapons, I think we're gonna see a new blaster. Based on the fact that we got new main weapons for all 3 of the OG weapon classes from the release of Splatoon 1, I feel like we might see a new blaster, since in this game they decided to make them their own distinct class from shooters. Like blasters, brushes were made their own distinct class from rollers in Splatoon 3, and I don't think they did this for nothing. Aside from marketing, I think they were purposefully made distinct so we can have more weapon classes to experiment with. They were also the first new class added to Splatoon 1 if you consider them separate from rollers, so yes, I do think we will finally see a new brush in this game. Lastly for new weapons, I think we're going to see a new weapon in the Stringer class. Yeah, I think we're going to see a new Stringer main weapon this season. This prediction is based mostly just off of how the dualies were handled in Splatoon 2, so I'm not quite as confident in this one. But I would personally rather see a new Stringer weapon than a new Stringer kit, since both Stringers have pretty good kits. Imagining all of the different possibilities for new Stringers has me super excited, so for right now I'm fine with just 1 kit for each Stringer. So moving on to weapon kits, let's start off with the shooters that I think will be getting new kits. I think we might see Neo Splash, since we did see a Splashomatic throwing a suction bomb in a screenshot released after the direct. I also think we're going to see the 52 Gal Deco and the custom jet sculpture, though those are based only on what was buffed from the previous balance patch, so I'm also not really confident in these 2. For rollers, I'm 100% confident we're gonna see the gold dynamo, since it's been in promotional material since the first trailer. We're still getting artwork of it too, so it's really weird to me that it's still not in the game. I think for chargers, we're gonna see a new kit for the Splat charger. I'm hoping we do at least, since right now, Inkback isn't considered that good, and I'd like a kit that lets me play my favorite weapon. For sloshers and splatlings, I'm honestly not sure what to predict, since there's not much that gives us a clue as to what it could be. So I'm just gonna hope for Tri-Slosher Nouveau and Ballpoint Nouveau, just so we can have a good kit for these 2 weapons. Hopefully Burst Bomb for Tri and Beacons for Ballpoint. Also, please give these weapons better specials too. Inkjet just doesn't feel good on either of these weapons for me. For dualies, I'm gonna predict Gluga Dualies Deco. I have no real evidence for this either, I just feel it. Like dualies, I think we're gonna see the undercover Sorella Relic for the same reason. We've also seen an undercover with Inkstorm multiple times after the direct, so I think this is a pretty safe bet. Lastly for weapon kits are the Splatanas, and since we only have 2 Splatanas in total, it's a 50-50. So Splatana Wiper, I don't fucking know. Stages are going to be a lot easier to predict, since we've already seen one of the future stages being updated into the game, that being the archaeological Egyptian dig site. We saw the stage during the direct and multiple times after, alongside Flounder Heights, so I think it's pretty likely that we see it in this season. I know we haven't seen much of it, but I like the look of it from the little we've seen. It looks like it'll have plenty of cover from high ground, which is a nice change of pace if that turns out to be true. The other map, though, is much harder to predict. I have a feeling we're going to see another Splatoon 1 map, which would leave us with 3 options. Urchin Underpass, Salt Spray Rig, and Bluefin Depot. Out of all of these, I think we're actually somewhat likely to see Urchin Underpass, since Splatoon 3 has a lot of references to Splatoon 1, Urchin being the flagship stage from Splatoon 1. If they do bring it back though, I really hope it's not changed too much. I feel like it'd be really easy to make that map very unfun to play on, so hopefully it doesn't get changed too much. As for Salmon run stages, that's much easier to predict, since it's either a new or a returning stage. I personally think we're gonna see the Lost Outpost returning though. This one admittedly doesn't really have any good reason or evidence to it, it's more just a gut feeling I guess. I think this stage could be super interesting with the new boss summonids though. The doorways would make luring certain boss summonids like Salmon lids a lot more risky and just overall makes the mode play a little more different than the other stages in Salmon Run. I think most people feel that we're likely going to see League Battle from Splatoon 2 return next season, and well, personally, I agree. We've already got a rough description of what's changing with the mode, and it honestly makes me more excited than anything else for this upcoming season. These special modes make me really curious about what they could be. Personally, I think we might see a mode where everyone is using only special weapons or have limited ink or something along those lines. It could be a bit more boring, but I do think with all the extra time the devs have spent on this mode, I think we're in for a really fun League mode in this game. I also think we're going to see Table Turf Battle online this season. I'd love to be able to play against other people waiting in the lobby while we all wait for match to start, kinda like the squid jump minigame from Splatoon 1. It's not as needed in this game since we can practice our aim in the testing range while we wait for games, but I'd still like the option. Those unused table turf tables above the lobby are the main reason I think we might see this feature, so fingers crossed I guess. These are the only two extra modes we know of that have yet to be added to the game, so I think these are the most likely candidates we have right now for new modes. Lastly, I want to talk about some of the smaller features I hope and predict we see in the next seasonal update. Before we get into this though, I will be covering some unused material left over in the game that may spoil future content, so if you'd rather not hear that stuff you could skip to the time on screen. And with that out of the way, probably the most notable thing here to talk about would be the jukebox. In case you aren't aware, there's an unused jukebox out of bounds underneath the lobby. It's likely this was going to be used to listen to the game's soundtrack, but also to play the Squid Beats minigame that's been in every Splatoon game since the first game. I've personally missed this feature a lot since I actually played this minigame quite a bit. I also feel like it's possible we see some new stuff relating to the lockers. I have no idea what it could be, but I think it's something we're going to keep seeing updates for every season. So yeah, those are pretty much all of my predictions for the next season of Splatoon 3. I have no idea how many of these will end up coming true, but I guess that's kind of the fun of this type of video. If you enjoyed, please let me know since any kind of feedback on the content is incredibly helpful. Anyway, with all of that being said, feel free to like and subscribe, and thank you so much for your time.